By now, it should be apparent to you all that you can sociologically analyze pretty much anything, from the entire country to the happenings of a small town coffee shop. I was really curious to see if people could almost subconsciously create new societies online through video games, which turned out to be pretty true. It may seem incredibly silly, but I chose to investigate a game on the Roblox platform titled The Wild West. As it turns out, this society is actually very deep and can be analyzed in a variety of ways. First, it should be important to establish the tenets of the culture of the Wild West. Players generally seem to value the ability to cause harm to other players. They value individualism. They really value being cruel for their own amusement and generally having fun. Not everything is serious in the Wild West, but players take causing harm very seriously. I can personally attest to this. I remember one time I was trying to bid on the axe gun, which was this Frankenstein combination of an axe and a musket. A real thing they used a really long time ago in the 18th century. So I was walking to the auction house to try and go bid on it, and I did. I bid on it, and I thought I was gonna win it. There was 30 seconds left. I didn't have any more money to bid. I was bidding all my money, and this guy came up into the auction house, and he said he saw that I had bid on it, and I was like, bro, I'm about to win this axe gun. And he said, are you? And I noticed he already had an axe gun on it. I was worried he was going to bid on it, and he did. He outbid me by $1,000. I was like, no, dude. And then he said, suck my tip, I'll multiply you. And that anecdote really just, he outbid me by $1,000 just to outbid me, even though he already had the item. And then he started shooting me with it just to add salt to the wound. And then he said, suck my tip, I'll multiply you. And so that anecdote, I think, just really solidifies how much Wild West players are willing to go to just annoy another player. That is how much they value their ability to harm other players. Hours upon hours are spent earning for better items to steal from and harass other players. Also, players usually take pride in doing what they want, and it is very rare to see player factions that are centered around helping everyone in the faction instead of everyone acting in their own interest together. This is important to note, especially when considering the player economy. Individualism is expressed through the in-game economy because players are free to buy whatever they want and use it however they want. Well, they should be. Wild West is actually chock full of disparity. Here's how it works. First, players are introduced to the game. They start to figure out the inner workings of the game and they start to gain experience. This experience allows them to pour their life into this game to get good items. At this point, they are extremely experienced and are very good at combat, meaning they can work more without the fear of being robbed, and also rob other players. Their wealth increases exponentially, and so they attain surplus items for low prices and sell them for high prices. That's an important detail, remember that. Their experience allows them to know when to watch the markets and how to haggle and barter. The game becomes pretty boring once you've reached the top as far as items go, so then these players return to Bronze City, the starting location, for amusement. And that's where the cruelty comes in. Experienced players will torment the new ones in Bronze City, which can exhaust the tolerance of the game for new players. They're either forced to literally flee Bronze City or quit the game entirely. For those that continue to play the game, the wealthy and experienced players have another chance to disparage them. Having bought items at low prices and looking for quick profit, they sell these items to the new poor players at high prices. New players have to work harder than the experienced ones because of their greed. I asked a guy from the official Wild West Discord server about it, and here's what he had to say. Powerful players in the game have completely changed the economy. The Wild West content maker TTOUFIQ told his fans that the Patterson Navy was being removed from the auction, falsely, which caused all of his fans to buy them out, causing a steep rise in prices where it now sits at $800,000. For reference, I purchased mine for about $180,000, 2 years ago. A lot of these players are also traders, and these traders are always hungry for profit. Say the Patterson Navy was worth $750,000 yesterday, these guys will demand $50,000 more for profit and will not sell otherwise. And so because of these really wealthy guys, the prices go on increasing, breaking the entire economy. Spitfire owners literally control it all. They've somehow made their gun worth $8 million, which keeps them ahead of everyone else no matter how hard someone works for money. And then I asked him if he thought there were also class divisions. He said, absolutely. Hell, there's class divisions on their Discord. Usually new players and players without knowledge of item values get scammed, mistreated, etc. The rich players always keep themselves above, and when they start to PvP, or fight other players, in Bronze City, they kill everyone because nobody else can compete with their skills and weapons. New players suffer majorly. Most interestingly, he says that the prices of some of these items are artificially inflated because of the powerful players that wanted to just make profit, and so they just ruined the entire economy. And so, while it does cause disparity, the game needs the economy. Without it, the game would become very boring and no one would play. The manifest function is to allow players to trade, but its latent dysfunction is that it causes disparity, as has been previously discussed. Excuse me. The economy is also kept alive by combat, like two halves of a whole. Combat's manifest function is the ability to take stuff from other players, but its latent dysfunction is, again, that disparity. New players are unable to involve themselves in these two parts because they lack wealth and experience, and so they become subjects of this system of the extremely wealthy. It is up to factions to adopt them and propel them into this world, but this can also cause overlaps in factions or new players. Does this sound familiar at all? With all this wealth and influence, there are obviously some symbols to represent them. Good items like the Patterson Navy Revolver and the Spitfire represent wealth, power, and prestige. Obviously, it requires wealth to acquire these things, which likely means that the owner is experienced, granting respect to them for being so dedicated. This experience also means other players are likely to listen to them, thereby granting them power and influence over other players. Being good at combat grants players prestige, but not necessarily wealth. Having good combat skills means players will respect and maybe even ask someone for advice. But being good at combat does not mean that someone's affluent, although they are also often associated. When players want to award one another positive sanctions or punish each other with negative sanctions, there are a variety of things they do for a variety of reasons. For instance, positive sanctions are associated with positive behavior, such as freeing someone from arrest, giving someone free items, or saving them from imminent danger. Players may simply thank each other, invite each other to their faction, or even hug each other. However, negative sanctions are incredibly cruel. Do you see how that value plays out right there? Making a transgression against someone in the Wild West is probably the worst thing you can do. If you grabbed a drop item before someone could pick it up, they may relentlessly hunt you down, rob you, and do some other cruel things to you. Even if it means doing more effort than just righting the wrong you did. Take a look at this clip. This guy had been attacking new players and robbing them, so when I caught him, I arrested him and placed him in front of a zombie that attacked him until he was run over by a train. I did this without even really thinking about how cruel this was, when I could have just claimed his dead bounty. The sociology of video games, and the Wild West in particular, can be very revealing of human nature. It most clearly illustrates the downsides of capitalist society, with the quote-unquote free market being constricted by monopoly and inequality of opportunity. It is safe to say that Karl Marx would probably hate this game.